We're going to be talking about learning through creativity today. Some of you may know me already. My name is Jeanne Perrett. My name looks French, but it's not French. It's an English name. Well, the name Jeanne is French, but I'm not French. I'm English. And as many of you do know, I think I live and I work in Greece. I've been in Greece since 1981, starting off as a teacher, had my own English school, and then kept on going writing materials. So now my main job is writing course books for English language learners. So I have been to lots of the countries here. In the old days when we could travel, or when, you know, we can travel now, but now everybody's got used to doing this, which I suppose is better because we wouldn't get so many people from so many different countries. Anyway, and so people that have already maybe have met me before will know that this is kind of my thing, learning in a creative manner. Okay. And what we're going to be talking, the whole kind of theme of all these webinars that we've been doing is about building our learners' confidence. But I'm also talking about building, for me, it's also about building our confidence, okay? Because I do believe that the main thing that we can give our kids is if we are confident, then they will get some of that confidence, okay? So it's about us also growing as people. We're the most important people here at the moment, us the teachers, okay? So, but obviously it's aimed towards your learners as well. So learning through creativity. So let's see. Right, now then, one of the things that people often say to us, it's kind of a thing, you know, is that if you're going to, you know, that you should get out of your comfort zone and do something new. Now then, because I was thinking about this webinar, I'm thinking about how we can best feel confident in a lot of different situations. I was thinking that really, I personally, and from my own experience, people that I've watched, people who I've taught, people I know, etc., my own experience, I feel that people do flourish, that we flourish when we are comfortable, when we are in a comfortable situation. And so I'm not saying that we shouldn't do new things. I do think that we should try new things. But instead of thinking that we should get out of our comfort zone, which is kind of scary and it puts people off and it stops some of us from doing things, I think that a better idea is to actually gradually enlarge our comfort zone. And I think that if we think of it in that way, it makes us more willing and more ready and more able to actually do new things. So it's important for our students, because of course we're teaching English to them within the confines of a classroom, and for many of our students, as we know, that's the only time they get to practice their English. And then all of a sudden they grow up and they have to go for a job interview and it's got to be in English, or they travel and they're meeting people, and all of a sudden they are out of their comfort zone when it comes to English, okay? So somehow we've got to help our classroom always to be a comfort zone, but that comfort zone in the classroom has to gradually increase. And so how do we do that? First of all, we slowly add new skills and new tasks and new experiences to our comfort zone. In other words, we do these things step by step. And this is something that I hope I'll be showing you how you can do within the classroom. Okay. And then, of course, practicing. The more we practice, the more confident we feel in using our language in many different ways. And then in this way that we do create a bigger and a better zone. Now then, I'm saying that it's about our learners. Of course, this is what we're focused on. That's why we're attending webinars, but it's also about us. So maybe you as a teacher want to try a new method, or maybe you have been asked to do a presentation or even a webinar, something like what we're doing now. And maybe it's the first time. So now these things are always a little bit scary, especially the first time that you do them. But if you can slowly add the new skills, what skills will you need if you're going to make a presentation? Well, you've got to speak in front of people. As you start, you're speaking in front of your class already, okay? So then maybe you start to go and speak in front of another class, a different class, one that isn't yours. We can gradually do everything bit by bit. It's like an athlete, they go on to achieve amazing feats in their sports, but of course they all do it, everything is done bit by bit. Okay, they don't suddenly start jumping very high to begin with. Let's say you jump high, then you jump a little bit higher, and then you jump a little bit higher. And then I think that these things can be kind of translated, the way we think about it, with our language, okay? So that we can help introduce different experiences and skills into our classroom at the same time as keeping everybody feeling comfortable. Yeah? Do we like this idea so far? I'm gonna have some sort of questions and answers at the end, but if there's anything, and thank you. It's really nice to get some feedback as I'm going on, because otherwise I'm just talking to myself. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's very nice to be encouraged, you see, and then I feel confident and comfortable. All right, hang on, wait. I can't find how to change my slide now. Where's the thing gone? Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So first of all, let's say confidence in speaking. So, in our classrooms, the children can speak in the classroom, they can say a certain amount, but of course what we need to do is we need them to get used to being able to speak outside of the classroom. Now then, it's a very basic concept, but if we're going to speak, first we need something to say, and then we need someone to say it to. So you see, outside of the classroom, it's not always easy to find this, is it? So our children, they do often, our learners, I'm talking about children because I'm nearly always to do with primary and pre-primary, but for any age, adult learners as well, and us as well, that we can struggle to get enough speaking practice, okay? So, and they can't easily practice speaking outside the classroom. Now, there are different ways in which we can do this. And one of them, which I've actually suggested in a little video that you might have seen, it's been doing the rounds, one of the Pearson videos, is for a start, you can just talk to yourself. One thing you can do is just speak to yourself as you're doing things at home, okay? So it might be that you would also like to do this as well. When you're doing something, just talk to yourself about what you're doing every day. So today, now, what am I going to do? What am I doing now? Okay, I'm cleaning the house. Okay, let me open the fridge. All right, what food do I need to get? Little things like this to just help you practice. And of course, a very sort of, kind of old-fashioned, it sounds like, but as we know, our kids often like this, a way to get to be able to get practice in speaking is by reading aloud. Okay, but we can make reading aloud. As you know, I think you probably know that the children love reading aloud in class because it's a very, again, it's a comfortable and safe way of practicing a language, okay? I have my own little English school, and the children, they were desperate to read aloud because, especially if you've got a large class, if you've got like 30 kids, it's difficult to get them all speaking at once. So reading as loud is a controlled way. And of course, there's different ways in which we can do that. So we can do it by short dialogues, of course, either dialogues, because in any course book that you've got dialogues to practice, and little sketches, like little plays, that you can write, or the children can write as well, very simple dialogues. You can practice and you can learn poems, okay, short poems, children's poems. They can write their own poems, and then songs. Now, you see, this is why the children always love listening to songs, because it makes it really does help with the flow of language when you're singing a song. But you can read the lyrics from songs as well, and of course they can read their passages from storybooks, and then they could also replay their favorite movie scenes as well. So, you know, one of the things that our kids do have masses of access to are videos nowadays. Yeah. So I don't know about you, but you know, by the way, I have to tell you, I'm sure I've told you this, but I've now got 7 grandchildren. So they range in age from, the eldest is 9 and the youngest is 10 months. All right. Okay. So I've got lots of sort of new input. But especially the older kids, well, from, you know, like 4 years onwards, they're all on YouTube. They're all watching all these different videos. And of course, if you can encourage them right from a very early age to watch things in English, it makes a massive difference to how fluent they become. And of course, their favorite little movie scenes or their little things they've done, they might be able to input and be sort of, you know, proactive in their learning like this by suggesting things that they've seen, little funny sketches they've seen, little cartoon animations and things like that. You can act them out in the classroom. So, you know, speaking doesn't always have to, it's basically about actually voicing language, isn't it? It's about voicing language. And then the more you actually voice language, whatever it is, you're not going to go around in daily life saying poems to each other. But on the other hand, if they get used to getting their tongues around different words, then this will all input. Because I do think that this is the problem, that we don't ever get enough practice in speaking. It's impossible to provide enough practice in our own classrooms. You know, there's so many other things we have to do as well. And how many hours a week do you have them anyway? You know, sometimes people just have them like a couple of hours. That's not enough speaking practice. So we can encourage our kids. And also, you see, if you show them that you're doing these things, that you've seen a little dialogue from a movie and you want to act it out with them, or something maybe that you've all watched on television together, you know, something that's maybe been on the nationwide, you know, network, that they might have known. They can act out little scenes, you know, something from like a Disney film, say, that, you know, I bet a lot of them know little dialogues from Frozen, for example. So, you know, these are ways that we can help to get more, help our kids, help our learners to get more practice. All right, so with everything we do, whatever curve we're learning, always keep it short and keep it simple. And I think that we have to remember this, you know, because when those of us who teach in the primary sector, we're kind of used to it, but I believe it goes for any learner, that if we give people too much to do, they're never going to be able to do it. So, for example, I would give learners scripts, okay? So, or they could create their own scripts, and just 4 lines of dialogue is plenty, just 4 lines. Don't write. If you're going to start, you know, to put together like a class play or something, it's always got to start with something simple. Just 4 lines of dialogue one day for them all to learn, yeah? And then another day, you can add another 4 lines of dialogue. I really, really believe that the simpler we can keep it, the better are the results. You know, we might have lots of different things in our mind that we want to do, but kids, they've got so many other things they're doing. English isn't the only thing they're learning. Keep it short and keep it simple. Now, I really believe that clarity is one of the most important things in teaching a language, or for learning anything. Or then what you could also do is let them choose a movie scene. And if you have the technology in the classroom, of course, you could watch just a very short scene together from a movie that they all like, just a little bit. Don't get involved with them all watching the movie all together, because that's just a waste of their time. They can do that at home, you know. And then, you know, press the pause button and let them find out, you know, what is it they're saying. Now, of course, the other thing you can do, you can always play the movie or the video, whatever it is you're doing, in English, but there's nearly always a subtitles option as well. And I think this is also very helpful to be able to hear it and then see the written word. So you could try it first, you play it, press pause. What did they say? What did Elsa say then? What did Anna say there? Or whatever it is you're watching. And then press the pause button so that they can do it. And then go to the subtitle option and put it on, and let's see if we were right, okay? Because then we're also getting the written text as well, which is important. And then it's just simply a case of them just copying it down, okay? And starting to learn it, And of course, when they're going to learn it, they're going to put in some, you know, expression. But I'm coming on to that in a little bit later. Yeah. So these, I think, are very simple ideas that we can do in our classroom. All right. Okay. So we should also always think about adding to anything that we say, any dialogue that they're practicing, anything at all, character. Okay, who you are, emotion, and location. Because whatever we do, whatever we say, wherever we are in life, we are always somebody. We're nearly always ourselves, okay, unless we're an actor. We're always feeling something, whatever it is, even if it's just sort of, nah, nothing much, okay, that's still an emotion. How are you feeling? Meh, okay, that's still a way of feeling. And we are always somewhere. Okay, now then, in the classroom, of course, what we are, we're always a student. Emotion, kind of nothing very much, because it's just at school. Location, classroom. So what we have to do is we have to bring in these other factors into our classroom. Okay, so we can decide who we are. We can have any dialogue, and so we can start off with, hello, how are you? Okay, so we could be different people when we're saying it. All right, we could be a celebrity that they choose, that they like. We could do a politician. We could be just an ordinary friend. We could be somebody else in the classroom. We might be an athlete, a famous athlete, a singer, somebody that they know, yeah, somebody that they've heard of, well, not that they know personally, okay? And then we can add in different factors, okay? We can add in different emotions. So where are we? You know, how do you feel? Maybe you feel shy. Maybe you feel angry. Maybe you feel tired. Maybe you feel excited. Maybe you feel anxious. All right. And then you can be in different locations. So you might be, I can't actually see my own screen now. So you might be in the supermarket, the library, a swimming pool. Hang on, I've got to try and move my chat box here. Wait, let me move my chat box up there. Oh, the beach. Yeah, that's a nice one. The school bus, a cinema, public library. Now, in each of those different places, we speak in different ways. Yeah, we speak in different ways. So, of course, this activity would be much more fun if we were all together in one big hall, and you could do it with me. All right. But even if you were just to start off with, hello, how are you? You're going to say it differently if you are a celebrity on the beach, yeah? Or if you're an athlete who's tired after a match or something, you're going to say those things in different ways, yeah? So if you just add in those three factors, character, emotion, location, it gives you a chance to practice dialogues, very simple English speaking, in a variety of different ways. So I'm going to show you here. So let's have a look here. Let's say we've got 2 practice dialogues. Now here, I've got that we are just going to be friends. It's just friends, okay? All right. So, and I suggested these emotions and locations. So the character is your friends. The emotion is, in the first one, you're angry. And the location is you're in the library. Now then, in the library, of course, we speak quietly. Yeah, okay, but they're angry. Their friends angry. So I've just got a very basic dialogue here. So I'm going to practice doing it with you. Okay, so, well, not with you. I'm going to do it by myself, all right? You're going to have to pretend you're doing it. You can practice at home. All right. So it's like, hello, how are you? Not bad. You? Okay, I guess, considering. Yeah, there's been a lot going on. Now then, you see, do you think I was good at being angry there, you know, in the library? All right, now then, let's just imagine that you're doing the same thing, exactly the same. And let's say that you are, you know, excited and you are on the beach, all right? You're friends, you're excited, and you're on the beach, okay? You're meeting each other. Hello, how are you? Not bad, you? Okay, I guess, considering, yeah, there's been a lot going on. All right, so in other words, we could keep on doing this dialogue. Thank you. I did feel that I was doing a good job getting angry in the library. I feel like my beach one was better, actually. Anyway, so in other words, you see, if you just had that simple dialogue to practice, you could actually spend all lesson with the kids doing it with different emotions, different locations. And let's do the next one. So now the emotion is tired. All right, tired. Oh, and on the beach. All right, your friends, you're tired on the beach. All right, so do you fancy a drink? Yeah, what should we get? What about a spinach and apple smoothie? You joking? All right, okay. All right, I feel like I'm bringing out all my good acting skills here. All right, so you know, you could have fun with that. You know, you could be, I don't know, flirty. You could be flirty. What about flirty? You're not going to do this with your primary students, but yeah, you fancy a drink? Yeah. What should we get? What about a spinach and apple smoothie? Are you joking? Okay, all right. That was me being flirty. All right, okay. So anyway, it's a very sort of simple kind of thing to do, actually. Just think of those things: character, emotion, location, and you can practice any English you're doing. And it's fun for the kids to do by themselves. And once they get in the habit, you see, and what it does is it starts to prepare them to be confident in English in different situations. Yeah. And it's also, you know what, it's just fun. It's fun. And if it's fun, then the kids are going to learn. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you. I feel pretty proud of my acting skills today. Yeah, even though I'm just here by myself in the study. It's nice to have you all there in the chat box. Thank you for joining in with me. Thank you. All right. Okay. Now, the other thing that we do is that we can easily do in the classroom is to use props. And we're nearly always doing something when we speak. Okay. So, for example, we might be using a phone. So it's very simple to make a cardboard phone or to have an actual phone disabled. They're not going to have them speaking on real phones. Eating or drinking. We're often walking. We're often standing. And so actually getting up and moving about and using some sort of prop. And you can try recreating these conditions in the classroom. Now, then what I say is that, again, we do it step by step. So if we go back to the previous where we were pretending to be on the beach, all right, excited on the beach, let's say, or tired on the beach. Do that first, so they're thinking about they're getting used to the dialogue, and then add a prop. If you add props too early, it kind of is too much or all at once. So I think, again, you do it step by step. So you get them slightly out of their comfort zone. You're getting slightly enlarging their comfort zone by pretending to be on a beach or in the library or wherever you are. And then add these props into the comfort zone. Okay, because what happens in real life, and I'm sure that you have experienced this yourself as English language speakers, that when you actually have to do something at the same time as speaking, it takes practice, doesn't it? It takes practice. You don't do it or you do it. So this is another thing that we can introduce into the classroom. Okay. All right. So in other words, we think of it as walking and talking, doing things at the same time as we're speaking English. Yeah. So it is good. It is always good if you can do something where people actually get up and do something in the classroom. And I do absolutely understand that it's difficult if there's a lot of kids in your class. But if you can make a little bit of space to get 2 of them out, 2 by 2, you don't have to all do it every day, to get them up and walking and talking. And apart from anything else, all these things, thinking about the character, thinking about the emotion, thinking about the location, using props, all of this, it takes the focus off the language. You see, it takes the focus off the language by recreating real life situations. And in this way, we help to bring the world into the classroom. Yes, somebody's asking me if I give them a specific script when you do location and emotion and attitude. Well, the thing is, you can just do it with anything that's in your course book. So as I say, you might be wanting just to practice something very simple, whatever it, supposing you're learning, have you ever? All right, so have you ever ridden a horse? Have you ever seen a dinosaur? Have you ever, something like that. Just so, and then the answer is yes, I have, or no, I haven't. So that's simple grammar. You're doing a simple grammar structure there. So let's just take those 2 lines of dialogue. Have you ever ridden a horse? No, I haven't. Instead of drilling it round, pretend that you are celebrities meeting each other on the beach, and you practice it in that way. So anything, any grammar lesson, anything, any language we can do, you can use these ideas for anything that you want the children to say. And I think actually, especially in grammar lessons, that we can use it. Okay, so we're looking at the focus, but you're taking the focus off the language, so we're not worrying about the mistakes. And then, of course, there's always the time. You're not going to do your whole lesson like this, because we also have to have the time where we're sitting down, heads down, we're doing some serious work, we're doing some writing, we're doing some grammar work as well. And what I always suggest is anything that's lively and active like this, that you do it in the middle of the class, in the middle of the lesson. Okay, so the beginning of the lesson will be how you usually open a lesson, your routine, doing a bit of reading, checking homework, whatever you're doing. In the middle, you do all the vibrant stuff, all the lively stuff, and then immediately have something that you're going to go on to, a sitting down, heads down activity. Okay, and that manages to keep the balance of the actual lesson, yeah? Because what you don't want is, the kids have got other lessons to go to. What you don't want is them all going out hilarious and, you know, laughing and feeling all energized by their lesson. You do want that, but you don't want them pouring out of the classroom all laughing and making a noise when they're going to another lesson. You've got to always calm them down, and there's no point telling the kids to calm down, because they won't. What you've got to do is have an activity which will help them to calm down. Yeah, you've got to have an activity ready, right? So you finished up, brilliant. Okay, all right. Workbook, open your workbook, page 23. Right, exercise 1. Let's see what we're doing. Look at the board. Okay, all right. So, you know, teacher, most of you, I'm sure most of you do this anyway, but it's kind of like a reminder that you can do the energetic stuff, but do it so that it doesn't disrupt the students, yeah, the whole school. Otherwise, then you won't be popular either, because the other teachers get fed up. You're all making too much noise, and they'll ask you to stop doing it, and you don't want that. Okay, all right. So these are the kind of props that we can have. So you can have like wigs. Maybe you've got some left over from fancy dress. From carnival time. You know, when it's carnival time here in Greece, it's usually around February, before Easter, before Lent, and there's like a carnival time, and the shops are always full of stuff that you can use in the classroom, very cheap stuff. You know, I'm not suggesting you pay a lot of money here. Don't go out and buy a wig. If one of your kids has got a wig left over from fancy dress, use that. Hats, old clothes. that maybe you don't want very much, or the kids maybe, you know, maybe they got an old t-shirt or something they could have. Phones, you either make them or you use an old phone. Paper plates and cups, okay. Sunglasses, they're always good. You can be a celebrity with a sunglass. Books, you can use whatever you've got, actual food or play food. And now then, what happens with the props? And this is my idea as well. I always I know that a lot of you don't have a designated classroom. If you haven't got one classroom that's yours, you haven't got anywhere to put these. But what I say is that you probably can just fit some small props into a box, okay? Put your name on it, okay, Jeanne Perrett, class A, etc. And leave it somewhere in the staff room, yeah? Or somewhere in the school so you can use it, so you can bring out these props, all right? So even better, if you've got your own classroom, you can keep those things in there. And you can bring them out. And again, you can use them for any dialogue. So now if you think about character, emotion, location, and then movement, and then using props, you know, that's going to make any dialogue, even if it's just like, have you ever ridden a horse? Yes, I have, or no, I haven't. You can do it wearing a hat and sunglasses. You know, you can practice, it brings your language to life, and it makes it much more fun. Okay. All right. Thank you for all your encouragement. Thank you, dears, in the chat box. I appreciate it. So we're going to have a look at some books. So I've written some books for lots of books actually for Pearson. English Code, Now I Know, Rise and Shine, Disney Stars and Heroes, Yazoo, all sorts of books I've written. Fly High. So, you know, over the years, I think these ones are from English Code. So this is an example from English Code. So role play a restaurant scene. So this is very, very simple. Yeah. Student A, this is at the end, they'll have learned all the food words. This is at the end, it's like in the project part of the lesson. It's not how you start. Student A, ask for your favorite food. Student B, you're a waiter. Do you have that food? And then we got the example. Okay, the kids say, can I have some pasta, chicken and cheese? Sure, here you go. Now then, look at the kids. So emotion, well, just kind of normal, all right. Characters, waiter and a customer, yeah. Or actually they look like, yeah, two cooks there. Anyway, the way that they're dressed. And then location, they looked like being in a sort of a school canteen or a restaurant, yeah? So it's role play restaurants. And they got, so we'll look at their props. They've got aprons. That's quite easy. Most of us have aprons or something at home you can bring in. Old aprons, old towels, all those things you can use, you know. And they've got notebook, pencil, etc. Yeah? So this is a very, very simple example of how you can do that. All right, here's some more dynamic speaking. All right. All right, here, this is from English Code again. And what they're doing is they're learning to juggle with two hats. Now here they've got top hats, but actually, you know, they're just the knitted hats that the children wear in the winter. And they're practicing the simple, the present continuous here. So I'm throwing the hats. Now I'm catching. All right. And if you try to juggle with balls to start with, you can't do it. If you try to juggle it with something like a rolled up t-shirt or a scarf or something, you can do it. You can throw it and you can catch it. Okay. So this is a little thing. So again, the focus for the kids is learning to juggle, but at the same time, they're learning the present continuous. And then once they've learned how to juggle with hats, not top hats, but with berets or caps, children's caps or something, they can learn. And they've got the skill of juggling. Very important skill to have. I always think being able to juggle, you never know when you might be called upon to juggle. Yeah, in life, probably absolutely never. All right, okay. And here's another game. Play Do What I Say. So tell your friends what to do. And look, the kids here are wearing props as well. And this is where, again, we're doing the present continuous, okay? So you've got the kids and one child, you to start with, and then one child. Or you always demonstrate the language first, okay? And then the kids can start doing it. So Ella is making a cake, and then Ella has to understand, and then mime making a cake, yeah? Sam is sleeping. All right, he's got to pretend to sleep. Lucy is looking for her socks. Okay, I don't think the girl's got the hang of it in that picture, because that's not actually how you look for your socks, is it? You're looking through other things. But anyway, you get the idea. You get the idea. So these are just sort of very simple ideas for how to bring speaking to life in the classroom. All right, now then, well, I'm going to go on. We've talked a lot about speaking, and I'm going to talk now about confidence in writing. All right, now then, one very important thing that I think is that we need to realize that most adults hardly write anything. Okay, so in other words, when I say most adults, I'm talking about all the parents of your kids. I'm not making a judgment. What I'm saying is that most adults in daily life hardly write anything at all. They might write text messages and they might write lists. Most adults don't write, and it's, you know, it didn't used to be like this, that we used to communicate through writing letters. All levels of society would still write using the written word. And now, of course, we do use text messages. Now, adults still write text messages, but children don't. They do audio calls. Yeah. So the important thing is that children rarely see adults write. It's something that we need to be aware of. Okay, you don't realize how few adults write until you really start thinking about it. Okay, so, and then of course, at most schools around the world, handwriting is still something that children have to do at schools. Okay, they're not handing in their work. They're not writing it on computers and printing it off. That in most schools, that's not happening around the world, only in some very elite schools. We're talking about the average student, your average school around the world. It's handwritten work, but handwriting is now becoming something that we only do at school. Okay, they don't see anybody handwriting out of school. Now, they might not have realized it. You might not have realized it. People don't realize. So this is what I want us all to realize, that writing is becoming something that we don't do. So for a start, we need to make handwriting that they see us doing some handwriting, but any kind of writing. And I mean, I'm a writer and I nearly always write using my laptop. Okay, I don't often handwrite now. So you know, somehow we've got to bring writing back into kids and lives, and into kids' lives, and they've got to see that they're role models for English, that we like writing and that we actually do some writing. And I think we need to examine ourselves as whether we do. So we can write in all sorts of different things. Writing doesn't just have to be in an exercise book. We can write in notebooks, of course. We can write on posters. We can write on T-shirts. We can write on little blank business cards. You know, you can get packs of business cards. And it's sometimes nice just to write little messages on that. Whenever we write on something different, it makes it a bit exciting for the kids. It's like we you know, when we get new stationery, we get a new notebook and a new pen, and then we get something new. We can write on this. We can write on this small piece of card. We can write on this big piece of paper. It just, you know, helps to make writing attractive. We can make signs. We can make magazines. We can make comics. We can make books. The children can write their own books. Okay, it starts small again. Start small. You know, just write. You know, fold over one piece of paper. You know, write on a cover here, a story in here, and don't forget, on the cover you have to have the author's name, which will be the child's name. So a very small book. Do things small and make them realize that they can do something with their writing, and that it's you know, because we're the only animals, we're the only creatures on the planet that can read and write. Human beings, that's what makes us different, you know, apart from speaking, of course. Okay, but other animals can make noise and they're communicating, but we're the only creatures that can read and write. So we need to not lose writing. Yeah, and I say, you know, it's not a judgment. It's not a judgment that people don't write. It's the way that the world is kind of evolving, but we can bring it back. We can we can make writing something that we do, yeah? Okay, let's everybody from this webinar go away and do a bit of writing. So of course we can write these things. We can write songs, yeah? We can write songs. We can write poems. Writing with different colors. Yes, there's somebody says that. Yes, absolutely. Writing different colors. You don't have to always use a pen or a pencil. You can use, you know, anything. We can write blogs. So those blogs are becoming a bit of a thing of the past as well now. We can write mails. We can write text messages, letters. Do you remember letters? People used to write letters. We can write commercials, adverts. Let's write a commercial for something. These things have all got to come from a script. You know, write plays, we can write sketches, we can write more. So I do think that, you know, we have to think about, you know, what we're writing really. And if we're not, sorry, hang on, I'm losing my notes a bit here. Hang on, let me just check what I'm doing, where I've got up to. Typical teacher, yeah. Yeah. And again, I've done another little video that's doing the rounds on the Pearson thing, where I suggest that we as teachers, we start to do a little bit of daily writing every day. And I think that's a very good idea to start with a very short daily diary, just us doing that. You don't have to show anybody, just start to write down what you did every day. And you don't have to write down all your feelings, just write where you went, what you did, what you ate, and who you saw. That's going to take you 5 minutes at the tops, 5 minutes tops. And once you get into it, I write a diary every day and I write it on my computer. Okay, so you can either write it handwriting, as we say, or you can write the video. Write down where you went, what you did, what you ate, what the weather was like. That's it. You don't have to go into all the sort of different details of different things. You might find, though, as I do, that as you go on, you want to write more, you get into the habit again. I think it's a habit that we're losing. Yeah, a diary, a journal. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, writing a journal. Keeping a little daily journal, but keep it simple. We're all so busy, we don't have to do too much, yeah? You don't have to do too much. All right, so let's have a look at some writing activities from Now I Know and from Rise and Shine. Okay, so this is very simple. This is from Rise and Shine, and we start off by getting the children to make their own Explorers Club passport. Very simple writing, yeah? What's your favorite day? This is just circling. They're going to circle their favorite. I like, just write something I like. I like playing basketball. I like, I don't know, whatever, apples. I like pink unicorns, whatever. I've got something that you've got, okay? I've got a dog, I've got a cat, I've got a rabbit, I've got a brother, I've got a red bike. And what's your favorite number? Yeah, write it down, write it in words. Then my name is, this is very simple, this is right at the beginning, and how old you are, yeah? And a little photo. And then here we are, the time to shine. My name is Sam, I'm 8. My favorite day is Saturday. I like tomatoes. I've got a brother. My favorite number is 20. Very simple. Okay, we're doing it quickly. This is a whole lesson. And this again comes at the end of the lesson. This is part of the review at the beginning of the lesson where we're seeing what they did last year. Yeah. So this is from Rise and Shine 2. So we're doing a recap of what they did the year before. This is the kind of lesson you'll be doing about this time of year in your classrooms. Okay, so very simple writing activity there. Here, all right, now this is from Now I Know. This is from Now I Know level 2. All right, and now look at exercise 2. All right, they've got a story. I'm not going to ask you to read the story now, but it's about a science fiction story, right? They're going to write a science fiction story. Simple, keep it simple. So first of all, write notes for planet Gamma and your own imaginary planet. So the first is reading comprehension. What can they see on planet Gamma? That's from the reading. Sounds, sights, sounds, feelings. You'll go through that with them to do the reading. And then on their planet, what can they see? Their imagined planet. What can they see? Sights, sounds, feelings. All right. And then, so writing strategy, we always give them writing strategies as well. Think about different ways to describe sounds, sights, and feelings to make your text more descriptive and interesting. All right. So that again is in the text. We're not just telling them to do it. We're showing them how to do it beforehand. Look. We heard some strange noises. They sound like strong vibrations. Ooh, okay. All right. And then they're going to, number 3, workbook. Find a picture of an imaginary planet then go to the workbook to do the writing activity. It's very guided, very structured, but it's also very imaginative. Yeah. So this is the kind of thing that we can do. That's in Now I Know. All right. And then here we're finishing off now. We're finishing off. And this is like at the end of, this is also in Now I Know level 2. And this is what I mean when we say we can write poems together. And of course, if you can write a poem with added music becomes a song. So if you've written a poem, you can also sing it as a song. All right. So this is an example. I feel good when I hug my bear. I feel good when I eat a pear. I feel good when I do PE. I feel good when I swim in the sea. I feel good when I take a bath. I feel good when I sing and laugh. I feel good when I run and play. I feel good every day. All right. So the kids, you know, they can do this and they can try. In fact, you can do a lot of activities with this. Again, we're doing it quickly, but you can start to think of words that rhyme. And of course, a poem doesn't have to rhyme. Yeah. They could just do a list of things that make them feel good. And that will also be a poem. You know, you don't have to have a rhyming poem, but having a rhyming poem is quite nice. It's quite good practice for them to think of words like that. A little bit, takes them a little bit, enlarges their comfort zone a little bit, enlarges their comfort zone. All right, okay. So as I say, we're coming to the end now. And yeah, as I say, that is from Now I Know too. So this is just something that you could finish off with your kids. I feel good when I do anything. Right, well, thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you very much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you so much for joining in with me. It made a big difference, or joining in with me with the chat in the chat. It was very, very nice to get your feedback. I really appreciate that. And now there's a survey that you can get. There's a survey somewhere, and I don't know where it is. I've been told where it is, but anyway, there's a survey. I think it's being sent to you. You find it, and once you complete the survey, then you get your certificate. Yeah, there's an attendance certificate. We need that. We need all the different certificates that we can get. Okay, yeah. So there's the survey, and I think it comes in your inbox, or it'll be sent to you, or you can find it anyway. Anyway, somewhere you can find this survey, and then you get it. So thank you very, very, very much for joining me. And I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful school year. Thank you. Thank you.